Hello, we are here in London, baby. We are just about to go to the Friends Experience here at the London XL. I will do my best to film as much as I can, and then more importantly, at the end, I will let you know whether I think it is worth paying the money and coming all the way to London. So I will put in as much footage as I can, and I'll take you along with us. now we have finished in the Friends experience. So in a moment we will give you the lowdown of what we think. Is it worth the money, or wasn't it worth the money and the travel here? So I'll be back in a moment with our review. So we're back home now, it's the next day, and I'm going to give you the quick rundown of the whole experience. So I've written it down here on my piece of paper, so if I look away it's just because I'm looking at that. So first off, transport. It's so easy to get to by train because you get off at Custom House, which is directly next to the XL, and it's on the Elizabeth line for the underground. There's Thames Links line, there's Southeastern, there's all the different train links that get you there. If you want to go by car, XL have a car park, which is between, I think it's either £20 or £25 for the day. It is pre-bookable. They do say if you are going to XL, even for another event, to pre-book your car park, so then you know you're guaranteed a parking space. Ticket prices for the Friends experience, I couldn't find my ticket on there. I think it was either £26 or £29 for adults, and it was a £14 for a child, which I didn't think was too bad for Friends as an experience, and it being in London as well. I thought it was a pretty good price, so this is why we went for it, and it's something that I've wanted to do for quite a long time, to experience it. So booking it up, it was very easily. As you saw from the video, just briefly, there was a small merchandise shop. It was, as expected, expensive, but if you're going to go there and want to pick up yourself a little memorabilia, you can do. Obviously there's pops there, there was hoodies and lots of different toys, cups, photo frames. As I said, it's all in the video. I did try my best to get the prices. That some bits didn't actually have a price on it, so it was quite difficult to find things. Oh, there was a lady was holding up a chicken a duck, and I heard her say, oh, it's £20. So, but I couldn't find one. So I think they were buried under the Hugsies. I'm not sure. So also there, they give you a QR code when you first arrive, and then they take photographs of you through where the stages are, because as you saw through the videos, they have different mock setups. There is quite a lot of attention to detail, like for instance, like my husband said, in Chandler and Joey's flat, there is apartment, there is the CD rack. I didn't even see it there until I looked back on the video, but that was there. There was quite a lot that I believe wasn't exactly the same as on the show. Like the fridges were completely different. Monica's apartment to me just looked bizarre. But you can see they're trying their best to be as authentic as possible. So obviously you can't have everything that's identical. You know, they will make things themselves to look good, but overall you could see what it was. Also, yeah, so the photos, let's go back to the photos. So I think there was about four, maybe five different areas, 6 I think in total, that they took your photo, and then at the end you take your QR code, you take it over to a little port touchscreen thing, and then you can see the photos. You could choose a photo. They were £12, which was a start. You could have a photo which was inside a cardboard frame, you know, like the Monica's door peephole frame. And then there was another one, and then you can have a key ring and something else. And we did think about getting the photo until I saw it was a 6x4. So it's just a regular, small, old-fashioned photo. If it was a bit bigger, like a 12x5, I think that would have been worth the money. But again, it's a tourist thing. We know it's going to be expensive. So, and you can take photo. I took so many photos, and you can take videos. Again, like me, if you want to take videos, people were taking photos, just queue up. And it wasn't busy at all. We had like, what, 10 people in our little group when you go round. So it doesn't take long. The reviews that I've read, oh, you're standing in there for hours, but you're You just go in, take pictures around people. As I showed you in the video, it wasn't too bad. And then there was another group that caught up with behind us, and people were being polite, letting you finish taking your photos, and then off you go. So, oh, and also when we got to the end, there was a cafe. So if you wanted to drag it out a little bit more, because it only takes about an hour to go through. Depends on how long that you take to look at each section, because obviously there's stuff on the walls that you can read. And the one bit that I took quite a bit of video of was these letters, and I couldn't really read the handwriting. And then the lady said to me, "Oh, it's Rachel's letter, 18 pages, front and back." I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm looking at. So when I took this video, hopefully I can read some of it. But I didn't want to stand there and try and read it all. But that would definitely be worth standing there and having a good look. Finally, what we thought. Well, I think personally, if you are an avid Friends fan, like I am, I've watched it ever since it first started, and we're still watching it now on repeat. We don't care. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the journey, because you're there, it's immersive, you feel like you're part of the program, sort of thing. And that's what I liked. And obviously I love taking photos, I love taking videos, and now I've got pictures. So I was on the Friends set, sort of thing. We know it's not real, but you know, it's an experience. And if you want that for memories, part of your family, if Friends is part of your growing up like it was mine, then yeah, go for it. But if you're just trying to find something to do a day out in London and Friends is okay, you wouldn't enjoy it. But it's definitely, I do think it's worth it if you are a Friends fan, 100%. So if that's part of something you want to do, you want to tick it off your bucket list, definitely go for it, especially as it's not a bad price for a London sort of experience. Because as we know, it can be expensive to go to the theatre and other things. But we popped up on the train, we got there, I don't know, it took us a good couple of hours to get there, because we had to change a couple of times, which is fine. It doesn't take too long. Time we got there, we had a walk around the harbour, whatever it's called, the Docklands, which will be in another video, so keep an eye out for that. And then you can just experience a bit more of London. So definitely recommend it, highly recommend it from me, a Friends fan. So yes, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Join me on the next one, because it will be the next one that I said about the trip around the Docklands and a little bit extra. And yep, when we go back up in the summer, there'll be even more vlogs of London, because I haven't been there for a really long time and I haven't seen a lot of it. So you can join us as we experience them together. So take care, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.